Hanna Ferm is brave and Victor Crone is in troubled waters, and now they're going direct to the final at Melodifestivalen 2020. Should we talk about it?
Let's do this!
Like a goddess rising out of the mist, that is how our Entranig Shokyan describes Hanna Ferm, who made a big impression in Malmö. She has gone direct to the final for the second year, and her song is Brave. This is very old school meets new school. It's very contemporary. There's like a hint of Billie Eilish, there's attitude, but at the same time, it's very old school sing-along circus, and it works. Very contemporary, very swirling. There's this energy, this vibe. She's saying she's braver now. You're going to have to put up with her. And, you know, people are putting her down. She's got some demons, but she's smiling and working the hair the whole time. I think the song is great. I think the staging is less great. I think the staging is almost absent. It's basically relying on her twirling her hair and serving face, which is fine. There is a glass wall, I believe, or an LED wall, and she kind of reflects upon it. I just hope they tidy this up, because it's a bit messy, and I think this is a contender to win if they can improve the staging. Because at this moment, I can think of several acts with better staging. However, I think she's got a real earworm, which puts her in good stead. Angus.
I totally agree about the earworm. I think of all 7 songs tonight, Brave is the one where I was humming the chorus as soon as the song was over. And the woohoos et al. All kind of filter in and catch you. Equally, I totally agree. I think the staging was really messy. I think it's a similar issue to what Victoria actually had in her semi-final in 2017, where she was kind of running back to get onto the LED bed and kind of racing to get into camera position. I think they've got Hannah running around the stage too much. They need to cut out a few angles. So there was a couple of points where you could kind of see she's focusing more on hitting the camera angle than hitting the note or caring about delivering the song. And then it suffers and she gets breathy and she's rushing and that makes it messy. So the song itself, I feel like the verse and the chorus belong in different songs. The verse is this kind of hyper-modern promising thing. And I mean, when I heard the snippet, I immediately wrote this off and kind of thought, this isn't the winner. Don't know why someone at SBT hyped this and put it in the 28 spots. I don't think my expectation totally changed tonight, but I think the verses elevated it a bit. But yeah, I struggle to see this winning. I think perhaps a good result might be the top 5 in the final for her. And actually, the song that I'm drawn back to with this kind of empowerment message and stomping on stage is Helena Paparizu's Survivor. I think it's very much, you know, Hannah doesn't actually do all that much apart from walking around the stage and leaning against a wall and a lot of hair flips. So yeah, it's weird because the song is an earworm, and yet despite that, I don't see it up there with kind of Dotter and Anna Bergendahl at the front of the pack. I do think when we look at the odds tomorrow morning, we will see her dropping down in the likelihood to win at the final.
Well, the song itself is the bop. Like you've said, it's an earworm. Hannah is well able to serve it. But I'm very confused by the staging, especially knowing that Sacha Jean-Baptiste did this. And Sacha Jean-Baptiste also did this for Jessica Mauboy, and she saw how it turned out for Jessica Mauboy. And why she has brought it back for Hanna Ferm is beyond I just can't comprehend it, because that style of dress needs to be burnt. It should be banned, because both Jessica and Hannah are stunning women, and it's not flattering at all on them, and it doesn't sit well in the shininess, and it's distracting nearly. And then Hannah, she's not doing much on stage, like what Angus said. And this song, I think, could have done with a few dancers or something like that. It was a lot for Hannah to carry off on her own. But on the plus side, it was a nice surprise, because everybody was just expecting Hannah to come back with a big ballad, something akin to what she had last year. So it's refreshing to see her mix it up and to experiment with other genres. Will it win? Not with this stage.
It's funny, the color of the dress is what bothers me. I feel like there's not enough contrast with the surroundings. Like, because the background is kind of purpley blue and the dress is kind of purpley blue. So I'm like, where's Hannah? Where my girl at? I can't see her. And I found that really distracting. When I heard the audio, I pictured her on a carousel in a house of horrors being brave, but maybe that's just me. In any case, yeah, I think that without improving staging, this isn't the winner. Which is a shame because the girl can sing. Although, was she struggling vocally at some points tonight? There were just little moments when I was like, that was off, and you could hear it.
Well, I think, and this comes to the point of the staging, right? I think it's too many camera marks for her to hit and running, and also ones that don't belong there. Like, there's a bit where she walks over to the wall at the start, and she turns away from the camera to pat the wall. And it's like, the whole rule here is camera interaction. Kind of do it. I will say, yeah, I think it's the rushing around that is the issue. I think she carried this off on her own, but equally little other option to do so. But yeah, I think it's the breathiness from running into marks. And she actually said throughout the week, she was talking about, I've got to run around in heels a lot for this performance. So yeah, I don't know, questions about stamina there, I think.
All right, well, we move on to the other direct qualifier, Victor Crone, Troubled Waters. Now, for me, this song was maybe not as strong as Brave. However, with the staging, in my mind, it elevates above it. I loved the staging. I wanted to watch this from the beginning to the end. It was instantly gripping. It's very radio-friendly. He did struggle at times vocally, but it's masked very well with the backing, and they would certainly have time to sort this out. He's got some moves. I don't think he's a natural dancer, but he's putting something together. Very wee jam. Love this man. He's honestly just the nicest person. We spoke to him quite a bit last year, all over the place. He was at our party. He was hanging out backstage with his sister. Hey, sister. My sister loves your sister, Victor. But it was just, he's a lovely person, and I'm glad he sang this Avicii-esque song. I think the effects are on point. It's just really cool. I love this. To me, this is Melfest. This is what Melfest is about. That visual spectacle, a bop of a song, beautiful scene, great singer. I'm loving this.
Yeah, I have to say, I think it was a real surprise. I think when he was announced, I was almost putting him more in kind of the Krista Siegfried's box of kind of, oh, someone else borrowed back from you. I appreciate he was in Melfest in 2015, but kind of had put him there as, he'll just have been drafted in to sing whatever is on offer that they can't ship to someone else. Yeah, totally pleasantly surprised. I think the effects look expensive. It's a nice iteration on the projection work that Sweden has done previously, because I think, we talk about projection dresses have kind of been done. We've had projection jumpsuits. We've had Man's Little Balloon Man. But this is something else, controlling the elements is quite a fun concept. I agree about the vocal bit. I don't know if that's just nerves. He has said in interviews that the song is very difficult to sing because it's in a lot of different tones. So you kind of have to work around that. So probably a mixture of all these things. But yeah, I thought this was compelling. I did prefer Hanna Ferm to this, having just said what I said about it. I do think that was the stronger of the two. I think in places this was almost too dark. I don't know if it's because he's in all black and the staging is essentially all black when the projections aren't on, but there were bits where it was just kind of, where is his body outline, and maybe they need to change up some of the sartorial choices. But yeah, I thought this was very strong, very impressive. I think there are people talking about this as kind of a dark horse to win. I'm not totally convinced of that. I think it's a very good song. I just don't know if I would call it a winner.
Victor Crone, for me, is someone who trades off his charisma, nerve, and talent, but all his uniqueness comes courtesy of staging. And his songs, I'm sorry, they're always Magnolia, Vanilla, little country Avicii things. Storm last year did not deserve to make the final. This staging is what made it. There was two other male singers there tonight. I would have been just as happy for them to go progress as far as instead of Victor. And I think Victor knew that he was in trouble, that he could just as easily not make it, because normally these direct qualifiers look quite confident when they're on stage. Victor looked anything but confident. But saying that, it's a nice song. It's definitely not the worst song in the final. But if it was in last year's competition, I'm not so sure that it would be going direct, or that people could be saying it's a potential winner. In my view, I cannot see it overthrowing there's probably 4 women female acts at the moment that I would put way ahead of it, being Hannah, the Mamas, Anna Bergendahl, and Dottir. I can't see him passing out any of those.
Well, we move on, and we're going to speed through the rest of these. In my mind, you could have sent all the rest of these home. I don't need any of these acts going to Anders Johnson, but there had to be 2. And the first is Frida Orn, We Are One. Very Malmö Eurovision 2013. This staging was the cheapest staging I've ever seen at Melfest. It was like she had some gold party streamers left over from her 12-year-old's birthday party, and they flashed some lights on it. There was just nothing going on. I did like her vocals, and I think she's got presence, so I understand why people put her through. She's a bit of a legend. She's very well known, right, in Sweden. People love this woman. I see why they love her. But the rest of these songs, none of them did anything for me, including this one.
Yeah, I mean, I fully get that. Equally, I would raise you Lisa Ajax's toilet paper in 2016.
Also
for that. No, I mean, I thought this was enjoyable. I do, I see why the press were making comparisons to Ashes. Anna Bergendahls song from last year. It was very in that country song style. She even had the same kind of, I don't even know, like kaftan come kimono type silhouette that Anna had. But yeah, I mean, perfectly serviceable, upbeat, fun pop tune to have in the mix there. But yeah, equally not the most impactful of entries in this year's competition.
It was nice, but based on the pre-semi-final hype, I was expecting something more along the lines of Ashes to Ashes meets Lena Headland's Victorious, and that's not what we got. We got a nice song. I'm not sad that it went to Anders Johnson, but at the same time, if it had finished fifth, I wouldn't have been crying.
From We Are One, we move to We Are Beige. It is Ellen Benedictson and Simon with Surface. Again, this is just flat like a surface. I mean, I couldn't tell you, what was the chorus? I just remember something repeating over and over, and I went to get a taco because I just couldn't deal with it. Ellen has had many different guises at Melfest. You know, her Blackbird was very emotional, and then she had the kind of sexier side with the song that followed. Was it Insomnia?
Insomnia.
Yes.
And I think you mean Songbird, not Blackbird.
It's all running together. You know, what is 10 p.m.? I just edited 22 posts. In any case, yeah, this does nothing for me.
I totally disagree with you. I really enjoyed Surface tonight. I think there's some nice touches. It being Sweden, it's nice they're kind of aping the classic ABBA profile shots at the start. I think if they tightened that up versus it being such a long shot of the two of them, that would make a big difference. But I also found this really catchy. And I would actually almost suspect that this came third in the semi-final tonight, looking at how the duels have stacked up for Anders Johnson. I really enjoyed it. I liked the chorus and their chemistry. I think the voices blended nicely together. I don't have much hope for them next week at Anders Johnson on the basis of who they've been drawn against, because Anis Don Demina, I think, is going to be quite a hard one to top based on his Spotify streams, but I do really like it. It's a nice kind of sound, but yeah, I can see where you might feel it was beige in a semi-final where there were so many country-type songs.
The party dances on a flat surface, so Anis, you go. Porik.
See, this is the thing. I know for a fact that I sat through Melodifestivalen for an hour and 90 minutes, but I'm struggling to remember what happened during their 3 minutes on stage. I know Ellen and the guy from Outrigger, they sang their song. It was nice and pleasant. But I was kind of promised something along the lines of Shallow from Lady Gaga. This was not Shallow from Lady Gaga. This was not even Shallow from a Lady Gaga impersonator. It was just two capable singers singing as a serviceable ballad.
It's just not enough. At Melfest, being a serviceable singer is just not enough, right? You've got to really be on point to slay, and this just felt empty to me. All right, fifth place was William Strythe. Man sang in front of Lighted Circle. Angus. I mean, honestly, I could tell you nothing about this.
Yeah, I think I can echo the sentiments. This fell into a very nice, and actually we've seen it a couple of times this year, perfectly nice Swedish pop song that gets passed over for the English tracks. I don't know if that's because they're thinking Eurovision when they're voting or what have you. But yeah, he seemed perfectly pleasant and competent, just perhaps lumbered with not the most inspiring song.
I think it was a pleasant surprise for a lot of people because a lot of us expected something worse. The main problem here was that while it sounded like a Darren track, it was a Darren album track rather than a Darren single. And at Eurovision, you need singles, not album tracks.
Thank you so much. Jacob Karlberg. I just remember blonde hair and guitars, a very Mondrian kind of aesthetic. I liked the TV cuts is what I'm trying to say, but I don't remember anything about the song. It was very open up, again, like red square, yellow. Do you know what I'm saying? On the screen, the framing. Yeah, nice guitar.
I almost got a 60s vibe from some of those camera shots, actually, like the yellows, the blues, the reds, the different ones. But yeah, I mean, generic, serviceable, upbeat Swedish rock stomper. I don't know. I was almost surprised that didn't go fifth, actually, over Williams' song, because I thought it was a bit better and more entertaining. But equally, potato, we can say.
I'm on the keto. I'll pass on both. All right. Next.
To be honest, I was surprised that this didn't make top 5, and I wouldn't mind swapping it out for Mr. Victor Crone.
Oh my God, you are in troubled waters, mister. Okay, the final act we haven't talked about. Now, she's a bit of a legend. It's Nan Gronville, and she had the most personality of anyone. This woman is hilarious. My sister was watching on Facebook, and she said, "Who is this Dolly Parton impersonator?" And while that sounds like an insult, I think she means, who is this vivacious creature, this lovable woman, this kind of upbeat, grand... Yeah, I don't have any ill words to say about her. She sang about carpool karaoke, so in a way it was a joke act, but she is such a legend. It wasn't a joke. It was just fun. I'm glad she was here. Your Melodifestivalen is not about us foreigners. It is about a Swedish domestic audience, and this will mean something to them that it doesn't mean to us. So I'm glad she was here. She did great. She didn't deserve to advance, but I would have put her and Anders Johnson over either of the other two whose names escape me. Angus.
I actually disagree. I really thought she deserved to get to Anders Johnson after that. I mean, it was totally crazy and full of Nana-isms. Like, I remember one of the reviews was talking about this is kind of like a pastiche of every song Nana has done in like the last 20 years rolled into one. But she's so distinctive and iconic. I just enjoyed it. And I think the past few years we've kind of had... shall we say, a grand dam of Melodifestivalen from years past advance. We had Lena Hedlund, we had Jessa Granderson. So I'd sort of in my head built up that Nana might sneak through on that basis and be kind of the Swedish party type entry dance band type sound, which obviously wasn't meant to be. And to be fair, the song is a really bizarre homage to James Corden and carpool karaoke. And the staging, a lot of the times it felt like we talked about Hanna Ferm rushing. Nana definitely felt like she was running a marathon for a lot of this. It was kind of like, where's the camera mark? What am I doing next? Where have my backing dancers gone? Am I in the right position? And a lot of kind of backing dancers sort of maneuvering into place and being like, here's the mark, here's where you need to be. But I mean, I totally loved it for all of that and was quite disappointed she didn't go through to Anders Johnson, or not even the final 5. But equally not surprising because it was bananas.
I'm glad that she didn't do like Charlotte Perrelli or Kiki Danielsson, who are also grand dames of Schlager, and came back with the most dire, drudgery country ballads known to man. So that was a plus. And her staging, I really liked her staging, and she brought some much needed pizzazz, because I think that's what's been missing from this year's Melodifestivalen. Because when I go back and listen to the audio versions of the song, I'm like, these songs aren't as bad as everyone's saying, but the staging, there's something missing in the staging this year, and she at least brought some sparkle and glitter and showbiz, because I even loved the moment the way she made the car appear out of all the dancers. But the song itself, just, it seemed clunky, even though I don't understand what she was singing, because it seemed so random that she's just like Swedish, carpool karaoke James Corden. Like, it just seemed bizarre that every so often she just goes James Corden, and you're like, and I'm surprised that it got in, because it's kind of nearly product placement, and we've known in the past that SVT are very strict on this, that they wouldn't even let Charlotte Perrelli host one year because she was associated with a brand. She was a brand ambassador, and it was nothing to do with the show. So I'm surprised they let in another commodity into the show, because essentially it's owned by whatever TV network broadcasts it in the US. But it was nice, it was fun, and it cheered me up when I was watching some of these ballad after ballad after ballad.
Yes, well, we have now heard all 28 songs, so just very quickly before we go, what stands out to you? Who is your potential winner? When I look back, I think of dark staging. The acts that I want to watch again are the ones that had dark staging. So Mariette, coming out of a big old black stage. The Mamas, black stage with gold lights. Doter, black stage, laser beams. Even Anna Bergendahls' staging was quite dark. Those are the Victor Crone. These are the 4 or 5 that are in my head and I want to watch again because we haven't been able to. So yeah, I don't know why that is, but I think my winner is in that mix. Hanna Ferm, if she sorts out her staging, might push into that, but for now, she's not quite there. Angus.
I think there's only two people realistically I see winning in the final, and I think that's either Dota or Anna Bergendahl. And I can see it going either way for them, but realistically, I think they're the only two in the mix to actually win it and take it. I think the Mamas will do well. I get why people like them, but equally, much as I like that song, I don't think it's as visually captivating as those two. And I just don't think the male talent is up there this year. And I also think if you look at the way they've designed the Jules for Anders Jansen, I think they've designed it to fill out the final with more male acts to make the female acts even more distinctive than they already are. So yeah, I think Dota or Anna for me.
I think of the males that Robin Benson would probably be the highest finisher for me, but I don't think he has enough buzz and hype around him to catch up with Dota and Anna, because they seem to be the ones to beat. And I wonder what the media narrative is around Anna at the moment in Sweden, because it's 11 years, or no, it's exactly 10 years since she famously became the first Swede to not qualify. And I love kind of how she has progressed in the public eye, that at the time she was kind of painted as this ice queen that people didn't vote for her. And then she kind of had the redemption with Ashes to Ashes. And now she's a full-on Schlager diva with Kingdom Come, and how she's progressed and evolved. And I think that the Swedes, Anna definitely has the reality TV story to go and push her far. And even Dottir has that to a certain extent, considering that she was the big hyped act of 2018 and she got eliminated in the semis. But they're the two to go based on song and staging and everything else.
Well, that's what we think. What do you think? Do you think the right acts went through tonight in Sweden? And who is your overall winner now that you've seen all 28 performances? Let us know here on wiwibloggs.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, give us a like in the comments, let us know what you think about semi-final 4, who won it and who went to Anders Jansen, and hit the notification bell.
And follow all our other content over on wiwibloggs and all our social media.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.